I think we got some folks that are coming in. I don't know if we are streamed to the Facebook yet, but we will be. You guys, welcome to day 3, I think. Is today day 3? Today is day 3. Justin, we going live to Facebook. So you guys, we got an amazing cast, as you can see, and I'm so excited for you guys to learn from these guys today. How did yesterday go? Everyone drop it in the chat. How did yesterday go for you? Okay, Melanie says, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. All right, cool. Justin, make me the host again, please. Okay, it looks like we're streaming to Facebook as well, which is good. All right, I think we are ready to go. So Justin, make me the host when you can. All right, you guys, so listen, we got a lot to do. In fact, today's going to be so good, I need to take my jacket off. All right, so it looks like some of you guys are doing very well. And so this is where we're at. So many of you guys are moving to executive director. Many of you guys are already executive director. So what's your job? What are you doing? What are you focused on? You're focused on building at least how many points? How many points? 2 points. Whatever that goal is, you got some lines that are on the paper. And some of you guys have just a few lines that you're going to fill up. Some of you guys have a lot of lines that you're going to fill up, but we're filling it up. Who's already filled in some lines? Drop it in the chat. Let's see. Who's already filled some lines in? Who's already filled some lines in? Who's already filled some lines in? So this is what I know. I want you guys to start approaching the day like this. This is the mindset of reaching your goal. See, Ashley Hack has filled in some lines, Camilla's filled in some lines, but this is basically the way that I want you guys to start thinking. I want you to start thinking like this. You remember when I said when you wake up in the morning, I want you to really focus on this piece of paper, your goals and your desires, and what you're going to go and create. Whether you know it or not, you're part of a creative process. You're part of a creative, like this creative symphony that's going on. Many of you guys don't know that, but that is what's happening. So as you are connecting to these goals, these dreams, these things that you want to do that you got down on this paper, it's doing something crazy. You don't need to know all of the, mechanics that's going on in your brain. Just trust me, it's doing something that's crazy. So when you look at this first thing when you wake up, and when you look at it, I said one of our action steps is to really look at this, ponder it, let it settle in your heart, meditate on it before you go to bed. Now it's doing this crazy mechanic stuff that you probably don't even know about. I don't really even get it. I just know that it works. And so when you wake up in the morning and you're looking at those goals and you're looking at these lines, I want you to just stare at them. What I'm saying is crazy, just trust me. Just stare at your lines. Everybody drop in the chat right now. Just say stare. I'm going to stare at these lines. I'm going to stare at these lines. Drop it in the chat. Go on and text someone and just say, I'm going to stare. They're not even going to know what you're talking about, but just text them, say, hey, I'm staring. I'm looking. I'm focused. I'm focused on it. I'm meditating on it. Just stare at it. Stare at your lines. And then just start to say this, look, man, I don't know whose name is going to be on this paper today. Say, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Timothy, John, Sarah, uh, uh, Ezekiel, what was some of my friends' names back in the day? Like, I don't know who the names are going to be. All I know is some names going down on this dang piece of paper today. That is the mindset. Say it with me, like, look, I'm staring at these lines and I don't know whose name is going to fill up these freaking lines. I don't know. All I know is some names are going down on this paper from what I do today. You wake up with that mentality, you wake up with that mindset, you wake up with that faith, that vision. You say, I don't know whose names, and I don't care if it's a client or a coach. But when you wake up with that sort of focus, you say, I don't know. Somebody asked me right now, whose name's going on your paper? Beats me. I have no idea. All I know, Annika, is somebody's name's going on this paper today. I remember Karen Elstrom asking me once. I went to her and I saw some people were doing like these gatherings, these we call them health rallies back then. And she asked me, I said, "Hey Karen, do you think I should do one of these?" And in great Karen fashion, she says, "What do you think you should do?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I should do one." And she says, "Do you have a location?" And I said, "No, like I have no room in my 700 square foot condo." Um, but I said, "You know what? I'm find a location today and I'll text you back." By the end of the day, we had a location, a doctor's office. So I don't know what that location was going to be. All I know is from what I do that day, I was going to get a location. And I went to about 13 or 14 different doctor's offices, asked them. And the last one, Dr. James Norcross, down on 2nd Street in Long Beach, said, "Yeah, dude, you can use my office." Gave me the keys that day. I had the guy's keys for like 14 days to his office. Why? Mentality. It is a mindset. I don't know. Jamil, are you going to be a multi-millionaire? Yeah, I don't know how, but yeah, of course. So I don't know whose name's going on this paper. All I know is somebody's name is going on this paper. And it is going to start with how you choose to win the day. Did you guys write out your cards? How are you going to win today? Are you going to let today slap you around? Or are you going to slap today around? Most of you guys are getting slapped in the face by the day because you're not planning it. You're not dictating how it's going to go. You're just, I don't know what the heck you're doing. You're just skating through the day. We got to start telling the day how it's going to be. Like, day, look, I'm the master. Okay. I'm the guy. You're going to do what I want you to do. So we got to start telling the day. We have to start winning the day. And one last thing before I bring on Meryl, who's so much better than I am. Um, the biggest thing that you can do, and I see a lot of you guys are in great action, and I'm so proud of you. But let me not kid anyone on this line. In order to fill up these lines and to do it at an accelerated pace, you will want to pick up this phone and you will want to start connecting with people and letting them hear your voice. All these other things are great, but you'll want to pick up this phone when I say, "What are your action steps for today?" And I see all these things, but I don't see I actually talked to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. Then it's good, but it's not great. So I don't want to kid anyone. But I do want you to be inspired. So that's why I'm going to bring on Meryl, who's going to share just an incredible story on how she originally advanced to executive director and did it with so much style and grace. Meryl, can you come on and inspire us this morning?
Of course. Thank you guys for inviting me. I'm so excited. Um, wow. Well, for me, getting to executive was just I hit the ground running and just went for it. I stayed close to my mentorship team, and each level it was just like, okay, what's next? I hit senior coach, and um, I don't think I had so much excitement. I didn't have so much excitement with each little step, but I was just eager to keep going and to keep learning. And it probably wasn't until my coach or one of my coaches under me hit executive director. And then everything changed. I remember my team, telling me when I hit it, like, just let it all sink in. How does this feel? How does this feel right now? And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't feel any certain way. How should I feel? And it wasn't until the other day when Shanna hit executive director that I was just like, this is what it's about. You know, coaching is just an incredible opportunity that's finally given me something that I'm passionate about. I was really just searching for something that I could do every single day that would give me something purposeful and meaningful. But not only that, it was about breaking through, right? And not feeling stuck. I've said this before, and if you heard me speak before, I live in a very small town, and I always felt I had to keep going. I had to get a education and a degree in order to make enough money for my family to thrive. And I came from a family of a single mom, and we always had less than enough. And I didn't want that for my family. I did not want that for my life. And so I always thought I had to have these high level positions in order to, create the financial freedom for my family, and so that I could be there for my kids' events and go to these things and volunteer. And what I've realized with Optavia is that sky's the limit, right? I don't have a top. I don't have a ceiling in this position. I could keep going as much as I want to put into this and as much as I want to dream. And I'm dreaming again, just listening to some of you guys the last couple of days. I've been thinking about this home that I wanted to buy for my family, and it just felt so out of reach for the longest time, and I was getting discouraged. And now, with the money that I've been able to bring in, those extra financial blessings from Optavia, and this is just a part-time thing for me, and I want it to be a full-time thing because it's just so incredible. In this time, I'm working from home right now with my other job, but I'm just so excited about Optavia and helping others. And so I just can't even thank my team, Whitney, my coach, for sharing her story. And I just want to continue to encourage people, share your story, because you might be inspiring someone who's watching. They may not be liking your post or commenting on your post, but they are watching. They're watching and they're being inspired by you, and they are relating to your story in some way. So keep doing what you're doing. Last night, we got to celebrate another one of our coaches who hit senior coach. I don't know what it is now about bringing on other team members. That's what it's about. I love helping clients, but those coaches are our clients too. And that's the whole trilogy behind Optavia. And I'm seeing it now. And I was literally just in tears and in excitement. Me and my son were dancing around the living room because it was just a whole different feeling when you're bringing on coaches and they're now getting to dream with you, and you're getting to see their dreams come true. And especially other moms, right? Moms who are now getting their life back, getting to be the best moms that they could be, and dream and make these big dreams come true for their family. Me and Shanna were just talking about, and we're family, but we were talking about, we're going to take the kids to Disneyland after this. You know, we need to set goals not only for ourselves, but for the kids too, because they're coming alongside with us and they're making sacrifices. They're making these temporary sacrifices with us so that we could have these dreams. So don't stop dreaming and just keep pushing. I know it may be hard. Any of you moms who are working full-time jobs and doing this, it's going to be worth it. Just keep going and keep pushing. Thank you, guys.
Oh man, you totally refresh me. I'm so inspired by you. You know, the first time I met Meryl in person, I probably said something like, "I don't know what you are going to choose to do with this, but I know exactly what you can do with this." And she left that day, and I mean, since that moment, and probably even before that, she's just been a joy. I mean, just incredible joy. So then let's talk about this then. You know, she talked about sharing your story, and I think that we were so overjoyed and refreshed yesterday by the group that had come on and taught us all the different ways in which they actually share their story. And a big part of that is actually making the connection. And so I wanted to go out and bring on three of the very best who are just so skilled at that, because it is a skill. But again, it's a want, it's a desire, it's a mindset. But there's a lot of skill that's wrapped up in it as well. So many of you guys know Priscilla Allen. She's a new mama, but she decided to get up early and be on and invest in you guys anyway today. So I want Priscilla to come on, queen of, connections and social media, and really spend some time with us. And let's learn from her, because in order to fill up these lines over the next couple of days, we'll want to do many of the things that she's talking about. So Miss Priscilla, take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So I'm excited to be with you guys today. I'm excited to commit these next days with you guys, and it's been fun doing these action steps with our team. So I want to talk to you guys about the power of connecting with people through social media, especially in our time now where we're all quarantined or isolated, right? Really, our only place to socially interact with people has really been through social media or the phone or Skype and things like that. As I was writing like my steps when Jamil sent me the topic he wanted to talk to me about, I started going through my messenger and I started looking at the people that I've started talking to. And one of the most powerful things that I remember in a training somebody said was, you can build a network anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are in your life, what season you're in your life. It doesn't matter what kind of network you come from. You can build a network. And it takes consistency. It takes loving on people. It takes conversations. Conversation is a headliner. There's a book that was given to us probably a year and a half ago at one of the summits that we went to in Utah. And it's this one right here. It's called Skill with People. And I read this book very often because it is so powerful in the way we connect with people. One of the things that this book says is people love to talk about themselves. That's just the way we are. That is human nature. And, I was the same. When I was a brand new coach, I wanted to talk about myself. I wanted to say everything about me. I wanted to say my story. I wanted to talk about my kids, my life, my marriage, the whole shebang, right? But when we're able to pivot that, and when we're able to make it about people and not about ourselves, my gosh, you become like a magnet. You attract people because people want to talk about themselves, right? So conversations is so important to drive your brand as a coach, right? When you conversate with people, it shows that you care about people. It shows that you want to know about them, and every day Jamil tells us, or the action steps that are given to us are like, hey, we need to go out there and connect with 5 people, connect with 10 people. How are you connecting with people today? What are you telling people today? Right now, when we have friends on Facebook, we have an opportunity. We have a window to their lives. We can see what is going on in their lives. When somebody accepts your Facebook friend request, you have the opportunity to go into their world and see what triggers them, see what gets them excited, see what is going on in their storylines. You have that opportunity. So it is important that we maximize that and that we build that relationship. When you build relationships with these people, when you ask questions, when you get to know them, you know what you're doing? You're building trust. You're building trust with people. And when you build trust with people, people's barriers come down. That's what's amazing, right? And what I've noticed for myself is when I invite people to trilogies, when I invite people to, different events that we have, and it's people that I don't even know, like I've never met face to face. Do you know why I feel so comfortable inviting them? And do you know why I don't feel like I'm pitching something to them? Because I've built a relationship with them prior. I've been building on the relationship. I've been loving them. I've been asking them questions and all these things. So now when I ask in return, hey, you know what? I have this amazing event going on. I'd love for you to come support me. I don't feel like, oh, she's going to think I'm pitching her something or something, because we have been building the relationship. So it's important to build that relationship, to interact with people's stories, empathize with them, show your feelings with them. If they're having a rough day because, they're homeschooling, and come on, who loves to homeschool, right? Like empathize with that, message them and be like, girl, I've been thinking about you. Like I'm in your shoes. shoes. How are you doing it? How are you handling this? You know, show people encouragement and love. I saw this girl just kind of about to pull her hair out with homeschooling, and I messaged her and I told her, girl, we are not cut out to be stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home working moms, and housewives, and stay-at-home like homeschooling moms. Like, we're just not. So show yourself grace, because we're all in this season together. She was like, girl, you have no idea how much those words meant to me, right? So bringing encouragement to people and loving on them, you know? Keep things, if you want to keep things personal, message them as well. Contact them, obviously, you know, like and love their things on Facebook, so the algorithms change for you so that they come into your world too. But the key, the relationship's going to happen in the conversations at the back end. That's where things are going to happen. So be intentional with their walls. Be intentional with what's going on in their life. Always have a list of people every month. When Jamil says have a list, you know what that means? That list means, that means this month, I'm going to get to know these people. This month, I'm going to go into these people's world and see what's going on with them, right? When he used to tell me build a list, I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, oh man, I already wrote all these names down. What other names am I going to write down? I don't know more than 300 people. I've been doing this for so long, blah, 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 blah. But what does it mean to actually have a list? It means to be intentional with that list. It means you're actually going to get to know those people. It doesn't just mean you're going to do like, comment, and that's it. No, go into those people's worlds and be intentional with wanting to build those relationships, right? So thank people for liking your stuff, right? Sometimes people say, well, people don't like my before and afters. Yeah, but you know what? My newborn post blew up. So I go through that list and I'm like, who's watching? Oh, wow, those girls are watching. I had no idea. Their names are going down on my list, you know? So go down that list. If, you know, you have different types of posts, if you're posting on a daily basis, people are liking your stuff on a daily basis. If you're showing multiple stuff in your life, you're going to have people attracted to different stuff, right? You're going to have foodies be attracted to your health recipes. You're going to have cat lovers be attracted to your cat posts. You're going to have dog lovers be attracted to your dog lovers. So go and be intentional with the people that like and love. And if you don't have who to talk to, then you're not adding enough people every single day. So I want to encourage you to build that platform every day. Be intentional about that platform. One of the things that, you know, I've come to realize for me is communities are great when you have hobbies, but I've switched things. I pivoted things a little bit, because what I do now is I go to my friends list and I'll add their friends. And the reason I do that is because when there is one mutual commonality, if you have one friend that at least knows that person, they're willing to accept you. They're willing to hear you out. Sometimes people, you know, if you randomly like Facebook friend request them, they're like, okay, who's this? This is weird. Not always, but I want to encourage you to also find other people and build on other people's networks, because that is the point of this business. So when you build that relationship, you will cultivate the trust. It's going to be easy to talk about people's health. It's going to be easy to find a talking point when it comes to our trilogy, right? We coach healthy body, mind, and finances. I'm stressed. My mind's killing me. Girl, you should explore what I do. We should talk about this. Or I'd love to share with you a little bit about like the healthy mindset that I talk to my clients about. So doing that is vital. So success is vital when you build an ongoing relationship with people. Reaching them where they're at is so important. So I want to encourage you to go out there, you know, ask yourself in the mornings, like, who am I going to serve today? What value am I going to provide to people? How am I going to be there? Value doesn't mean I have to sign them up on the program today. Value doesn't mean I have to bring them into my world right now. No, they have to realize that. But how are you going to bring value to people is by caring on them, by loving on them, by encouraging them. You know, video text messages are powerful. I mean, incredibly powerful, right? And yesterday I sent a few of those video text messages, and this one person that I sent it to, he sends me a video text back with tears in his eyes. And he says, Priscilla, you have no idea how timing your message was in my life today. You have no idea. All I did was send him a text, like a video text, like thanking him for like his contribution to social media during these pandemic times. I'm like, I see so much negativity, but I love your wall because you're always encouraging people and loving on people. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for bringing value to my life and bringing value to the people around you. That's all I said to him. And I sent it. And then I forgot. And then I went on to the next person. And then by the end of the day, he sends me a message with tears. The message was like 5 minutes long, which is okay, but that's how much people are craving, that attention. And when we know that, and if we're not doing that, we're doing ourselves a disservice, and we're doing those people that we know a disservice. So I want to encourage you guys to go out there, look at your list differently, and be like, it's not just a hundreds list. That's it. It's not just 100 people I'm going to connect with. No, get to know those people. Build that trust with people, so that it is a two-way relationship, so that when it is time for them, whether it's time for them to do the program or whether it's time for them to help you bring on other people, that relationship has been established because you have built that. So I want to encourage you guys, check this book out. If you don't have this book, it is powerful. It tells you how to skillfully connect with people, how to skillfully listen to them, how to skillfully agree with them. It's amazing. And it's so thin. So anyway, thank you so much for hearing me out this morning. Jamil, back to you, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. Can you guys come up for a breath now? Anybody feel like just breathe, just let that settle in. All of that magic that Priscilla just gave us. Was that helpful? Did that bring you any sort of value at all? Oh my gosh, that book, Skills with People, I think I gave all of mine away, but it is so appropriate for what she's talking about and for what all of these ladies are going to be talking about. Let's just go straight out to Annika. I don't think we need to fluff it up too much. So Annika, why don't you come on off and explain to us how you make these connections, but how you do it by picking up the phone. All right, Annika Relaford.
How do you follow Miss P? My goodness, straight flipping fire. Everything that she was saying, I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh. Guys, success leaves clues. If you do nothing else than follow what Priscilla was literally telling you, you can go impact so many lives, you guys. But let's just be real. Some of us may not be so comfortable on social media. I'll be real with you guys. When I started this with Jamil, I was like, hun, I really don't have many friends, right? I don't have that many connections on social media. I don't know if I'm going to be successful with this. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't have that much of a following, and I don't have that many friends, and I don't have that much of an influence. How am I going to build a massively incredible business, if I don't have a social media presence? Okay, good. I'm seeing some ones in here. Okay. Don't worry about that, because we're going to teach you right from the get-go here how actually Jamil helped me 3 years ago. And it's literally pick up your phone. I want you guys, if nothing else today, go pick up your phone and go scroll every single contact in your address book. And what we're going to get really good at is sharing your heart and what this has done. I literally picked up the phone. So he told me, go through and write all these names down. These are people that you have had long-standing relationships with, or maybe they're just connections. That's okay. This is actually your sphere of influence, and we're going to work that, right? So there would be people in the beginning that I would just pick up. It was my cousin. It was my aunt. It was my girlfriends from college, from Cerro Coso College. It was the connections that I had made in Atlanta, Georgia when I was there for 8 months for schooling. And all I did was I picked up the phone and I sent them a message. Heck, I even sent them a video message, like Priscilla was saying. And I just said, dude, Stephen, you've known me. I got to be for real right now. Do you have a minute? And they'd be like, yeah, absolutely. And so I would tell them my story. I'd literally pick up the phone and say, do you have 5 minutes? And they'd say, of course. And I'd say, look, you know that I've struggled for a really long time, right? Emotionally, I wasn't the most stable person. Physically, I had a lot of weight. I just found something that has literally shifted everything in my entire life and awakened up my soul. I got to tell you about this. And I would tell my story with such conviction and such passion for like maybe 3 minutes, right? Maybe. And I would be like, for real, Who do you know that is struggling right now that I can go serve? I've got answers for people right now that are literally silently suffering. Who do you know that's maybe stressed out? Who do you know that's maybe eating themselves underneath the kitchen sink right now? Who do you know that is financially suffering, that maybe is looking for some answers and maybe looking to do a side job right now? Who do you know that I can go serve right now? Who are you thinking about? It is literally that. This is what we call getting the word out, guys. It is not that hard to go through your contacts and pick it up. The only thing that's hard is what you're choosing to tell yourself is hard. It is not hard to go care about Priscilla or care about people like Priscilla was just talking about. If you're coming from this place of gratitude and giving and caring and serving, this is not that difficult to do. Go through your contacts today. If you do nothing else, pick out 3 people and just call them. Heck, leave them a voicemail or just say, hey, when you have 5 minutes, let me know. I really want to share something with you, right? And pick up the phone and share it. And when you're doing this and you're sharing your story, you're connecting with people. Look, Stephen, you're such an incredible guy. You and I go way back, right? Like, you can trust me. This is something where I just really want to go help people, but more so connect with them. How are you doing? How have things been for you? How is life treating you? Go give value to somebody else. When you connect with them authentically, when you're real and you're sharing what this is doing for you, you automatically build that level of trust, right? And that is so key. So this is how literally I started building a really amazing business with no social media presence whatsoever. I really did. I had, I think, 111 friends when I started. It was just family. And it was maybe a couple of people from high school. And then from there, I said, well, who do they know? And I started to build that sphere of influence over time. And I started to build and cultivate that trust that Priscilla was talking about. Now, another amazing thing that I do, throw a 2 in the chat if you've got clients currently right now. I'm going to give you a really amazing tool that's really going to help you. Okay, great. This is blowing up. Okay. Your current clients, when you're doing client check-ins, connect with them over the phone. We are not text messaging our clients to check in with them, right? And as you are adding value to them, as you're listening to them, as you're moving them through their struggles, right? And you're giving them tools and resources on how to really go shift things for them. I'm saying, Anna, who else do you know out there that's struggling with the same thing that you are? And she'll say, well, my sister is. Well, my aunt is. Do you feel like that they could use this right now? Well, yeah. Okay. Would you be willing to do myself and yourself a favor? And she goes, of course. I want you to go reach out to them. I want you to tell them what you're learning and that you've got a free coach that really cares about people right now. And I don't even know if you're interested. All I know is that I think that she could help you right now. Would you want to connect with her? This is getting the word out and building a referral-based business. And I say, and then if they say yes, connect us in a 3-way message chat. Don't say anything else and just say, hey, I want to introduce you to my amazing coach, Annika. I feel like she can really help you with what's going on right now. And then you move it to the phone. You say, hey, you know what, Meryl, I'm so excited to meet you. Anna said that we should connect. When do you have some time to connect on the phone? I'd really love to get to know you and see what you're struggling with. This is so simple to do with your current clients, but it requires being on the phone with them when you're talking to them, to ask permission to say, who else do you know? This is such a simple tool to use that I think most coaches aren't even doing, but it's imperative to help build that referral-based business too, right? So literally, when you go and do this, you are looking to move this to the phone, to have this connection, to sit down with them, like Priscilla said, and be super curious what they're struggling with. Why haven't they had it? And we're offering a solution. If we are not offering that solution, we're literally just having a conversation and saying, well, I feel you, I relate to you, love you, but that's it. We're here to be leaders that go lead people to a new way of life. And if we're not offering solutions to them through what we're doing a huge disservice. So make sure that we're posturing this, well, I think I've got answers for you. And I don't even know if the timing's right. All I know is that I care enough about you right now. And even if we're on the phone, I'm making sure that we're connected on Facebook, right? So at that time, I'm actually adding that extra layer of fertilization, right? By connecting on Facebook. So we're friends on Facebook. Let's stay connected, right? I want to see how you're doing. Let's stay connected there. Such an amazing way. So that just adds another layer to that relationship right there, okay? Asking for their email address. Hey, look, timing may not be right now because it may not for some people, but it may be. But if it's not, how about I send you some tips that I think that can really help you in the weeks moving forward? Look, you struggle with recipes. Look, you struggle with mindset. You struggle with this. I've got an amazing newsletter that'll at least give you some value, right? So these are those follow-up steps that we're doing on health assessments when people aren't ready just yet. They're getting their email and we're saying, hey, how about at least I send you a newsletter that gives you some information? Getting them in Facebook. Every single time I do a health assessment with people, I'm making sure that they're added to our client support group too, and adding that extra layer of fertilizer, right? So that they get even more value and it's coming up on their Facebook feed. I'm making sure that that seed that I have planted gets watered and fertilized at least 3 times a week with that. The newsletter, our client support group, and on Fridays, I'm following up with them and giving them value and checking in with them and saying, how are you doing? I just been thinking about you. Is your life moving forward? How can I go serve you right now? And I am constantly being intentional when I am going back to my lists, when I'm going back to my health assessments, when I'm going back to all of those people. I have literally got lists everywhere right now and thinking about people, right? But if we're not picking up the phone, people need to feel your heart. People need to feel connection right now more than anything. We do not need to be socially distant. Yes, we can be physically distant, but we do not need to be socially distant. If we share and care enough, pick up the phone, this can change lives for people.
I love that. Oh my gosh, so good. Thank you so much, Annika. Was that helpful for you guys? You know, this is much what she's talking about is much of it is how I got here. I mean, it really is. You guys just think about it. Like, if you had this really big event or you started a business or you opened up some sort of shop, like you call people and you let them know that I got something that's cool that's going on. That's all I did. I picked out 10 people a day and I said, you guys got to know what I'm doing. That's it. In fact, I would sometimes streamline the process. I would shoot out some text and say, "Hey, you guys, I found something that's amazing. It's really, really helped me. You should definitely know about it. You know, a whole bunch of people that could probably benefit from this." And I would invite people back then. They had like freeconference.com. You guys remember that freeconferencecall.com? And I was like, man, instead of me just calling you individually, let me just get 10 of you on all at once. Let me just tell you what I'm doing. They got to know who you are and what you're doing. They have to know. If they don't know, guess whose fault that is? If you got people on your phone, people that care about you, people that love you, people that you've grown up with, that you've gone to church with, that you've cried with, that you've laughed with, that you've hiked with, that you've gone to see movies with, if these people don't know who you are, what you've been through, what your story is, and what you got, whose fault is that? They got to know. Like I tell people, I say, and let me go through your phone real fast. Who's Tim? Who's Brandon? Who's Tracy? They know that you're a coach. They know you lost 60 pounds. They know you're actively looking to serve other people. No, Jamil, they don't know. Why not? Your job is to let them know. Like, what do you mean they don't know? This was like it takes 2 seconds to pick up the phone and say, Brandon, hey, I got to tell you what's going on. This is what we do. If they don't know, you think people know about Nike? You think people know about Apple? You don't think Nike and Apple got people in there that's calling consumers saying, hey, you got to know about Nike and Apple. You are Nike and Apple. You got to let people know what you're doing. If they don't know, that's our fault. Thank you so much, Annika. Hold on, but wait, there's still more. There's still more, because I want to bring on Global Director Cindy Kidd and just have her. She's so good at connecting with people, and she's so good at doing it in person, but we can also do it virtually. Even though that we're here and, we don't have that much mobility, but look, that doesn't mean much, not with our sort of business. So Cindy, please come on and educate us and help inspire us so that we can use these strategies and go connect with more people.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So excited to share about this topic because it's actually the one topic, I shouldn't say the one, but it is one of many topics I am very passionate about. And that is how to build in-person relationships. Granted, we're kind of all stuck in sheltering in place. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I'm moving these into virtual relationships now that we can't meet in person. But I do want to share avenues that I've found that have been really, really helpful. And as, well, maybe not all of you guys know, but as some of you guys know, Andrew and I moved to Colorado in September. Got laid off. We thought, well, shoot, it replaced our income already at that point. So why not have Optavia be the vehicle to move to like our dream state? So here we are, which sounded fantastic, you guys. And it is. I love Colorado. But I left everything I knew in Washington and we came to Colorado, and I know all of 4 people, and they're 2 of Andrew's Army buddies and their spouses who are just lovely. But I left my social network to literally nothing. And the worst part about it is that Andrew was still in Washington when we moved. We kind of did like this crossing the borders as we had to get the kids started with school here, and we had to sell our house in Washington. So as Andrew's in Washington for what felt like forever, I'm here in Colorado by myself. Kids are in school. I need friends, people. Like, what I've learned through this process is I am way more of an extrovert than I thought I was. I always thought, no, I'm an introvert, or I'm an introverted extrovert, which is I can host meetings at work and talk to people, but really I like to be alone. No, what I'm learning doing this full time is I don't like to be alone, and I feed off of people's energy. And I am much better at making connections in person than I am on Facebook. And that's not to say Facebook isn't an amazing platform to build those relationships, because I've done that too. But I think building trust and getting people to know your personality in person, it just expedites that process, because there is a level of trust that has to happen before someone is going to let you into their world and even share anything about their health. So when I moved here, middle of September, still beautiful here, it wasn't Washington and raining, I started joining Facebook groups. And whether it was Women Hikers of Colorado Springs or not single moms, dear God, it was like stay-at-home moms of Colorado Springs. I'm not single. I joined those Facebook groups and I started engaging in those groups. And I was pretty bold, you guys. Like, I'm meeting strangers on hikes in the mountains. And granted, they were women and it would never be like single hikes. They were groups. But I knew I had to put myself out there. But more importantly, it was stuff I love to do. So it's not like you have to meet people that you don't have common interests with. There's a ton of Facebook groups online. So many, it's a little overwhelming, where you can find a common interest, whether it's photography or hiking, cooking, gardening, whatever. There are those groups out there, and that's how you can start making those connections locally. So whether it was hiking groups, meetups that I did, I made a really bold post one day in the Mom of Colorado Springs Facebook group. And it basically said, I'm an adult of two, like almost teenage kids. I don't know how to make friends as an adult. Like put a 6 in the chat if you're like, I struggle. Like you have your family and you have your core friends growing up, but when you move to a new area, how do you make friends with people? I don't know. And so I blasted that on the Facebook page, and I was shocked at how many moms were like, that's me, that's me. My life revolves around my kids and like my kids' friends, but no one really knows how to make friends as an adult. And so I used that opportunity to meet people for coffee dates. And it was as simple as I friended them. That's going to be the theme that you're going to hear, or that you've already heard from many of the ladies on the panel. You meet someone, you friend them on Facebook. You have that relationship, you've built that connection. A lot of people have Facebook. It's not really like a weird thing, especially if they're in these groups and that's how you're finding them. If they've interacted with me, they're getting a Facebook friend request. And I build a relationship. Hey, next Saturday, do you want to go meet for coffee? And I can't even tell you how many coffee dates I went on. I felt like it was every weekend while Andrew wasn't here because I had nothing else to do. The kids are sleeping in. They're not waking up till like 10 or 11. I know for those of you with like little kids, it happens. I promise there comes a time where they sleep in. But it was, I have my whole morning to myself. So why not go meet people for coffee and build relationships without any expectations, you guys? It wasn't like, oh, I'm going on a coffee date and I'm going to sign this person up, or maybe they have like weight-related issues that we can talk about. None of that. It is simply building the relationships and getting to know people, because they may not be the person who needs program, but they may be a gateway to people who do need program. So Facebook groups is huge. The other app that I've leveraged a lot is the Meetup app. And here's the thing, you guys, it's just that. It's people who want to meet up and build relationships. It has nothing to do with like virtual meetups, although I'll talk about that in a minute. But it is this app where people want to network and build relationships. And there are so many opportunities to find, again, common interests that you have. Some of the first few ones I found, actually some of my favorites, are women entrepreneur groups here in Colorado Springs. Like, talk about meeting with a group of women who just want to empower each other and build each other up. So every month we meet on a regular basis and we get to talk about what we do. What a natural place to talk about what we do than in a women's entrepreneur group. And there is some investment there that has to happen. And what I mean by that is it can't just be all take. There has to be a little bit of give there, which means I support the businesses in that women entrepreneur group too. So in order to kind of build those relationships and build those businesses, you have to build trust, and you do that in person. And those opportunities on Meetup exist. The cool thing about Meetup right now, you guys, is all of these meetings are going virtual. Like Andrew had 2 last week. I had 2 last week. Some of them are just coffee meetups. Like, let's just get on Zoom and do like a study hall and drink coffee while we're working, because we just want that socialization. If you've been afraid to do a meetup because you don't know anybody, it is a much safer place to join virtually than it is to join in person, because there's no like anxiety of, oh my gosh, what if they ask me a question? You know how Zoom works. You can just like mute yourself and, you know, turn off your video, and they don't really know who you are, and you can just kind of feel out the meeting. But if you've ever wanted to do it, now is the time, because people want those connections. And what I do, no joke, I could pull up my phone now, is when I join those meetings, every week or every month, depending on the sequence of these meetings, I take a screenshot of my screen, because Zoom will show you their names, and I screenshot it, and then I go friend them on Facebook, and I instantly send them a message once they accept my friend request. It was so great to see you on our Zoom meeting this morning. Hope to get to know you. Can't wait to hear more about your business, or whatever the Zoom topic is about. But it's that easy to do, and making those connections is so fun, because you get to learn a lot about what inspires people, what drives them. The coffee virtual meetup I had on Monday, the icebreaker question was, what excites you? I can't wait to tell you what excites me. It's health coaching, and let me tell you about it for my like 5-minute intro. So there's these opportunities that just easily present themselves if you put yourself out there. So I encourage you to look up the Meetup app if you don't have it already this week, and just search for things, because you'd be surprised. There's yoga, there's activities, there's walking groups. there's one I found that I thought was so fun. It's like, go meet me at the park with my dog. And it's just, you just don't know what you're going to find. And granted, yes, in a time right now, you can't meet these folks in person, but they are giving you opportunities, literally putting it at your feet, like do this virtually, which leads me to my third one, which is Toastmasters. You guys, if you've never heard of Toastmasters or you've never done Toastmasters before, go sign up for Toastmasters. Not only is it an incredible personal development opportunity where you get to go and improve your speaking skills in this really safe environment, it also gives you an opportunity to network. And one of our clients here in Colorado, one of our first ones, came from Toastmasters because it's an opportunity where you're going into an environment and you get to share your story. Everybody in that group is in a different place. And I mean, like speaking skill wise, it's an eclectic group career wise. It's just a fun place to interact. And you get to hear literally people's like soul as they're talking and sharing speeches. But it's a super safe environment. And right now, they're doing them virtually. And you can go to any of them right now for free. In fact, you can go to any Toastmaster for free anyway when they're in person, and just check out clubs and see what they're like and see which clubs you kind of connect with. But if you've ever been considering Toastmasters, check one out virtually. And you know what I do at those opportunities too? When we have guests, I take a screenshot and then I go friend them on Facebook, because then they'll get to see kind of the eye into my world, right? They're getting to meet me in Toastmasters. They'll get to hear Andrew and myself talk in there, share little pieces of our story. But then they get to put the other piece together and see the rest of our family and the fact that we're a health coach and we do this full time. So the opportunities to connect virtually are endless, but you have to make sure you're completing the work, which is you meet someone in person, you friend them on Facebook, and you continue those connections, especially now virtually more than ever. I know not everyone is staying at home and sheltering in place, and you guys have jobs to do, sometimes at work if you are sheltering in place but still working, and many of you are essential workers. Thank you for what you're doing out there. So I know you don't have a ton of time, but find those nuggets of time where you can schedule a 15-minute virtual coffee date with somebody. I've been plugging those into my calendar sporadically, and those have been pretty fun because people want to talk to people right now. I had a single mom who's like, my daughter is at my dad's right now, and I'm at home by myself for a week and I can't leave. So they want those connections, and that's how you build those relationships that are so important. And then the last one I have that I miss so much is volunteering. I started volunteering at the Colorado Springs Rescue Mission every single week, and it's my opportunity to give back to the community and serve. And it's something I've just understood that I love doing now. I didn't think I wanted to do it to get out of the house, but I absolutely love it and miss it right now. And that is just another opportunity to make connections with people. And they put together a Facebook page now that we can't go volunteer because of the risk. So now I'm friending everybody who's a volunteer at the Colorado Springs Rescue Mission, and that's a doorway to a conversation on Facebook. So every interaction you have is an opportunity to send somebody a friend request on Facebook, but continue to foster those relationships. And when you do meet with people, just like you heard Priscilla say, and just like you heard Annika say, it's what is it about them? How can you serve them? How can you get to know them? Don't get tied to some type of expectation where I'm meeting these people so they can serve me. It has nothing to do with you, you guys. Nothing. It's what can we do for them? And in turn, that will foster trust and continue building those relationships. Now, as you build these relationships and as you get to know these folks, it's a great opportunity to ask people for email addresses. Whether they're on a health journey and you can get them on a health assessment, fantastic, as that trust continues. But I've gotten a ton of emails so that we can send our newsletter out. And Andrew and I do create our own newsletter. We don't necessarily use the one that's in Connection, or not Connection, but Optavia Connect, Optavia Share. We do that for a couple of reasons, but one is because I've actually found out I like to write. And so it's fun to put together a newsletter that we can send to non-clients and kind of drip on those people that we haven't had a health assessment with. But if you guys aren't yet using the newsletter and Optavia Share, please do it. It's like 3 minutes of your life to just populate it and send it into your past clients, current clients, and all of your health assessments. It is just that additional dripping that happens. And you don't even have to recreate the wheel. Like, they put the newsletter together for you, and it's fantastic because there's before and afters, there's recipes, they go through the life book, which we all should be going through. So use that tool because it's incredibly helpful. And I know it took us a really long time to go that route, and I wish we wouldn't have, but it's all a learning process, right? We all go through our little struggles. But my biggest takeaway for you guys really is making sure you're building that community as you're at home virtually. Every Saturday, I also have a community coffee hour that some of us coaches put together so that we invite people, non-clients too, that just want community. There's so many people out there that don't have family, or their husbands are deployed is a big one, and now they're home with the kids and they just want that adult interaction. And now is the time to do it. So you don't have to leave your house. It's not a huge time commitment. Lock yourself in a room for 30 minutes and just get to know people. The opportunities are there, you guys. I mean, I can talk about this forever because I love leaving the house and dealing with people. But just know, whether it's Facebook groups, whether it's the Meetup app, I really encourage you guys to check out, whether it's civic groups in the community that you can learn how to go find the things that you connect with, find the people in those groups, friend them, and make those relationships. It may take a little while to foster them, but in person, that trust builds like tenfold versus some person who's on social media where it takes them a little bit longer to get to know you and your family and your personality. That's all I got.
I think that was so good. You guys, put a 5 in the chat if that was so helpful for you. You know, there's so many things, and you can tell Cindy's so passionate about this subject. Her eyes just lit up as she really dove into that. You know, I think all of the speakers today have given us some meat that we can bite off. And one of the great things about coaching is when you learn stuff, you don't need to wait, next week to use it. You wait like 2 seconds and then you start using it, right? And so if you just look at the chat, it is really blowing up. So we started this thing with mindset. Let me kind of end it with mindset. And then let's get into some action steps. So I want to leave you. I told you how when I approach the day, what is my mindset? And it's a beingness of what's in here. And I probably got that from my mom. But it's just like, I don't know, but I know. I don't know whose name is going down. I just know who I am. And I'm going to go do the things that it requires to be successful today. I am going to go and win the day. And so I'm thinking like this, you know, every day, Jamil, you have a choice. You can be average, you can be like everyone else, or you can choose to be great. A great leader, a great father, a great connector, a great husband, a great coach, a great teacher, a great citizen. You know, JFK says something really prominent that really was symbolic of what Cindy was saying. And he says, do not ask what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your fellow country. Cindy is saying, hey, don't approach these conversations, you know, saying, what can you do for me, but what can I do for you? So I'm thinking when I get up, you know what, whose life will forever be changed because I woke up today? Whose life will forever be changed because I had the opportunity to wake up today? Karen Elstrom taught me, and she taught me well. She said, Jamil, this whole thing is about service. Who can you serve today? I've been saying that for over 7 years now. It's on all my devices. When the screen goes dark on all my computers, what pops up is, who can I serve today? It is about service. I say, you know, people will often forget what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And it is about generosity. We talked about reciprocity. What you give, you will get. So be generous with your time. Be generous with your love. Be generous with your story. Be generous with your compliments. As you're making these connections, be generous with your joy and your happiness, your grace. Be generous with your faith in them. Be generous with your compassion. Be generous with reaching out and giving people the opportunity to forever change and start this amazing journey, or continue this amazing journey that they are on, but that they're able to do with Optavia. Let's get into some action steps. So we have an incredible opportunity. It's so crazy. I've been saying this for many, many years now. We have an incredible opportunity because we do. We do. Day 3 action steps. You guys ready for it? All right, take some screenshots. Yes, you guessed it. You already know what I was going to say. These guys have breathed life into you for 60 minutes. So suspend all fear and thinking, and just what? Just
It's 8 o'clock.
go. You got to go. It's time to go. We've given you the inspiration, the education, the knowledge, the motivation. We cannot do the push-ups for you. You got to go. It's time to go. Who's going to go? Who's going to go? Drop a 7 in the chat if you're going to go. It's time to go. You got these lines. You don't know who's going to be on these lines. All you know is by the end of the day, somebody's name is going on this line. Put a 7 in the chat in the comments if you're going. It's time to go. We got to go. Suspend all fear. Do not think it is. You know what kind of factor it is. It's time to go. Look at your goals and your dreams at least 3 times. I keep saying this for a reason. If you see people that keep saying stuff, it's probably for a reason. And you definitely want to look at it before bedtime, and you want to what? Stare. Oh, I'm going to stare at those lines. I'm staring. Somebody's name is going down on, I don't know whose name, but just put somebody on my path. Who am I supposed to talk to today? Who am I supposed to serve today? Who am I supposed to connect with today? I don't know whose name is going down on here, but somebody's name. We got to make our I will win the day card. Start telling the day what you are going to do. Hey, go back to your last couple posts on social media and pick out, 10 to 20 likes. And I want you to do what Priscilla Allen was talking about. Send them a video message. Did I just scare some of you guys? Stop thinking and go. Oh, Jamil, I don't have my makeup. Jamil, stop it. It's time to go. Send them a video message. Connect with those people. Say hi. Go from your heart. Say, thanks so much. I was thinking about you. Thanks so much for liking my post. How are things going in these interesting times? If this is scary, you are thinking too much. You don't need to think. Just suspend all thinking and go. Text your support team again today to 10 people that you will be calling. Everybody say calling. Put it in the chat. Calling. Because I don't want this to be misconstrued. Sometimes I tell my kids, hey, Ezra, you got to go clean the kitchen. And Ezra goes up to his room and gets on a device. And then I'm sitting there trying to figure out, did I say it wrong? Like, maybe it's my fault. I take personal responsibility. I say, maybe my communication was off. So if I know I have all you guys put in here calling, I can look back at this text thread and say, no, Jamil wasn't crazy. He actually did say call. So everybody say calling so that I know I'm not crazy. Because most time with my kids, I'm sitting there thinking like, dang, dude, I must have said something different because they did something completely opposite of what I suggested. So those 10 people, find 3 groups like Cindy talked about that interest you and go in there and make a bold post, okay? Make yourself known. You just stepped in the room. When you step in the room, it gets brighter. You don't want to step in the room and don't nobody knows that you're there. You're now the sort of person that steps in the room and everybody turns their head and they say, you know what? Whew. They say Megan just walked in. Nancy Vega just walked in. Don walked in. Dana Stewart walked in. Jessica Moody just walked in. Make yourself known. Continue to connect with your inactive clients. And I want you to take one stroll. Stop. We got to go. Hold on. All right, call's over. Go get to work.